36 female, 41 male. I know that my husband regrets throwing me out, but I can't rush my healing. Plus update. Original post. My husband's best friend's wife, Ali, works at the same company I do. We are not very close because I always felt that she didn't like me. Anyway, apparently she had a crush on my husband. My husband and I often get invited to parties at their house. I didn't go to Ali's 40th birthday last August. She had a huge party. I was just starting with my worst morning sickness period, which nobody told me were not only reserved for mornings. Ali made a move on my husband, and he got very upset and turned her down. Ali got angry and told him that everyone was doing it. All married couples cheat. Her husband was cheating and I was cheating. She told him it was a colleague of mine, a colleague my husband already disliked. When my husband got home, he was drunk and very upset. He confronted me. I told him it wasn't true, but he slept on the sofa. A couple of weeks later, he told me to move out. Apparently, Ali provided my husband with information about my infidelity, late working hours, etc. I was shocked and had nowhere to go. I moved in with my parents. My parents thought I was cheating too, and I felt they had to take me in. I never felt so hurt in my life. How could my husband so simply believe such a thing about me? He demanded a paternity test. In November, my husband found out the truth when another friend's wife told her husband what Ali did. My husband apologized and was devastated and wanted to make it up to me. He told me when Ali told him he didn't believe her. Then he found out that she was telling the truth about her husband being an adulterer. So he thought she was telling the truth about everything. If I wasn't pregnant, I would never have taken my husband back. But I just don't want my baby to be born without his parents being together. I love my stepdad, but he never loved me like he did his biological children, my half-siblings. And it gave me a lot of pain growing up. I moved back home a month ago, but we are still in therapy. Nothing feels the same. I don't know what I feel about my husband. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I don't. He is trying to make me happy again, but he feels my change. Last time we made love, he kept telling me to come back to him and then broke down crying while we were still intimate because I wasn't there. And he started blaming himself. I don't know what to do. I know I'm being a bit distant and it's not intentional. I need this to work, not only for our son, but for us too. Help me find my way back to how it was, or at least give me ways to cope and try to live with the knowledge that things may be a bit worse moving forward. My reaction for OP. Hey OP, that's a shocker. I really feel for you. More so as you were pregnant at the time your husband decided to believe unfounded rumours about you from a dubious source. Rightly, you are distraught that your husband could treat you this way. He has apologised and appears sincere. Time is a great healer. Perhaps after time apart, the fog will clear. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Comment 1. Sounds like you need his and hers therapists and a couples to complete the hat trick. That's if you really think you want to make this work. And I'd give that some serious thought. If this was a complete departure for him, maybe that's worth it. But if you can't find it in yourself to forgive him, don't stay for the sake of the baby. Modeling an unhealthy relationship isn't going to be any better for your child than growing up with parents who are separated. Model happiness for your baby instead. Possibly relevant. Did he cheat too because he thought you had? OP. I understand everything you're saying. I just feel I want this to work. We are in couples counseling. He's in therapy since everything happened. He didn't cheat exactly since we were divorcing. He withdrew it when he found out I wasn't lying. But yes, he had sex with people. Something I can't shake off my mind every time he comes near me. Comment 2. You are staying because your stepfather wasn't a good step-parent. Some people are amazing step-parents. Having a child is not a good reason to stay in a broken relationship. This will hurt the child way more than having divorced parents. Your husband didn't trust you. He put someone else's word over yours. He broke his vow during your marriage that you would be his partner and him yours. That you would be a team. He threw you out while pregnant, not even knowing yet if the kid was his. He had no right, as it is a maritable home. I think it is a big mistake to go back to him, especially given your reasons. Comment 3. Bio father has proven himself a bad parent before kiddo is even born. If he could throw out the mother of his child over the word of someone who made a pass at him, leave her and baby to be effectively homeless, and proceed to immediately sleep with other people as soon as he could get away with it, he has failed at the first hurdle of parenthood, and then he has the audacity to convince a vulnerable, pregnant woman to sleep with him again, while complaining she's not present enough, so hasn't forgiven him fast enough. This is nothing short of abusive. OP, some things cannot and should not be fixed in a marriage, and what your husband has done is absolutely abhorrent and unforgivable. Now for the update. Hi again, thank you for the support. I didn't expect everyone would read my post since it got too long, but thank you for giving a F really. It feels weird that strangers are far more understanding of how I'm feeling than the people who love and know me. There's something I want to bring up, however, and that's that I got a lot of aggressive messages about my last comment that got downvoted about whether my husband has slept with Ali or not. I'm so confused to why I got downvoted and later attacked in the private chat. The post got deleted shortly afterwards. I was asked a question and I answered the truth, and I wasn't trying to defend my husband. Actually, the reason why he would never do it is because he loves and respects his friend. He wouldn't do that to him. It has nothing to do with me, and to be honest, it saddens me. I mean, I don't want him to have slept with her, but it saddens me that my husband would never cross that line with a buddy of his when he chose to trample all over me and our baby. So I'm very confused to why you hated my answer. Ali and I still have the same workplace. I'm not changing my life because of her. And to those of you who were angered by the fact that I didn't seem as mad at her as I am with my husband, believe me, I hate everything about her and her husband. I just didn't think her worthy of the smallest amount of my time and energy. But for those who are curious, I exposed her and her husband to every single person we know. She works mostly from home now because, again, the people who don't know me, as well as my family, my co-workers, had no problems believing me with no hesitation. Many of you have requested an update, and many of you who contacted me asked if my husband knew how I was feeling. I haven't spoken with him a lot. I just never had the energy. I feel exhausted all the time. Physically, but moreover mentally. I'm so tired, and some days I can barely do the simplest tasks, like eating or taking a shower. I'm fine or I'll be fine. It's just so easy to say. My quietness is good enough indication for my husband to get an idea about how I'm feeling, but no, I have never really put in words how I've been doing these past few months. I'm mostly silent, and in our couple sessions too, trying not to cry. It's basically him breaking down about how bad he hurt me and how guilty he felt every time he remembered how he doubted that our baby is his. I believe everything he says, and I feel that his guilt is genuine and heavy. He says he deserves it, and that he never wants it to go away. He should always live with this guilt because of how he treated me. I believe this too. It's just not enough for me, however. We had our first session for this year on Tuesday. I was more verbal then. I told him how I felt when my husband chose not to believe me, chose to sleep with others, and break my heart. But worst, how worthless and disposable my baby and I were to him. I told him the truth, that I wasn't sure I will ever forgive him. His only chance to get me back is to give me space and peace. I told him I never want to feel worthless again. I have a good job and I can fend for myself and my baby, but that I want my house. He needs to put it in my name so nobody can ever kick me to the streets again. I never want my baby to be disposable again, so I want the inheritance my husband got from his father to be put in a trust fund for him, and that my husband has no access to it. And I want my husband to move out. I made it very clear that these are my demands. Without any guarantees, we would stay together. This morning, he told me that he agreed to everything. but he wanted me to promise to let him be present when our baby is born because he's already lost so much time from the pregnancy. He can't stand the thought of not being there for our baby's first weeks. I agreed, and honestly, I never wanted to do this alone anyway. He is moving out this weekend. Story 2. Would I be the arsehole here if I, 26 female, break up with my boyfriend, 28 male, of 4+ years over his 40+ body count? Update. Original post. We dated for 3 years, broke up for 2 years, and now we are trying to make things work again for the past year or more. We have an insane amount of trust issues due to his infidelity in the past. Things have been hard, but we are doing better than ever. Tonight we had a discussion and he brought up the fact that he had slept with 20+ women in 1 year while we were broken up. Before we dated, he had slept with 20+ women and I thought that was his hoe phase, but now I am finding out he doubled it since. I am struggling to view him the same. I am almost disgusted by how many women he went through in just 1 year. It makes me question his fidelity going forward, his view on sex and whether it's just a transaction to him or not. I am worried about his impulse control and I'm worried that what he acts like when he's single, doing coke and effing anyone, is a testament to his character and not just some phase. And then on a personal level, I am afraid I don't live up in the sex history he has and the caliber of woman he can get. This has all made me extremely insecure. He told me to try and figure out if this news changes whether I want to be with him or not and get back to him because he doesn't want to feel judged. I wanted to marry this man and have his kids, all of it. Now I can't even look at him. Will this pass or should I just end it? Now for the update. Update. Did not expect the original post to blow up so much. Definitely goes to show how controversial a body count can be to everyone. I've learned that everyone is owed their own opinions and personally, 40+ people in your 20s is a lot. But I do have views more so on the conservative side of things, so each to their own. I want to give a bit of a backup story and answer some questions. First time we dated, we were living together and I was a paranoid, insecure and controlling girlfriend. It pushed him away and ruined the relationship. When I went through his phone once, I found he was on multiple dating sites, but had never physically met up with anyone. I still consider this cheating, regardless of not having physical contact. During our breakup, he had a brief relationship, but spent most of that time exploring his single life. I can't be mad at that. I wasn't in the picture, and although I can have my opinion, I really can't judge what happened during that time. Personally, I was in a relationship with the first man I had sex with after we broke up. I dated him for the majority of the 2 years we were broken up. So even if he effed 20+ women, I am pretty sure I was having more consistent sex than he was altogether. I think some of my hurt is stemming from jealousy. Either jealousy that I didn't get to have a hoe phase, or jealousy that he was able to get a plethora of women back home with him. I am bi but don't have much experience with women. But I definitely don't want or need a hoe phase, and I don't think having threesomes with him would be healthy for my mental health. I am trying to navigate these emotions the best I can. Now for the update. I didn't sleep at all after he told me about his single life. When he woke up, I decided to ask some important questions that were sending my mind in a spiral. I asked why he did it, if he was attracted to the thrill of pursuing new women, if he was attracted to the variety of women, or if he was desperately looking for a relationship. He explained that he was just a single, horny man. And he would take girls home and either he didn't like how the sex went or he realised immediately that he couldn't stand them and would just have casual sex and move on. He explained that he wasn't attracted to the variety or pursuit and he didn't actually enjoy not being able to find someone compatible. We kept in touch during this time and he would tell me how he still loved me, how he couldn't help but compare everyone to me and my mannerisms or personality, and no one ever matched up. So when we finally did get back together, He would always tell me he was so happy he wasn't out there single because all he ever wanted was me. And he jumped right back in my life the second I gave him any bit of wiggle room. I asked him for validation and he gave that to me. I needed to know why he wants to settle down with me, if he still talks to or knows any of these girls, if he used protection, if he still desires other women, etc, etc. He gave me all the validation I needed to know. That regardless of his sexcapades, that he loves me and wants to be with only me for the rest of his life. And I believe that. I mean, if he could be with 40 plus women or more, and he chooses to sit here and talk with me for hours about how much he loves me, then yeah, that's gotta show that he's putting in effort and time to make sure I feel special. He used protection the entire time, and we both had STD tests done before we started hooking up again. All of the women were found at a bar, so there's no chance of him being able to still contact them. I will just have to trust him on that. I think the next step is to get back into couples therapy with him and discuss how things move forward with this new information. But to me, I still love him just the same. He is still the same man to me, still the man I want to marry and love for the rest of my life. It may be taboo to try and make a relationship work after trust issues, but I have always had them. I have major trauma from abuse in past relationships, and I will always struggle trusting people. This is something we both agreed on having to work and deal with, and he has showed tremendous effort in accommodating my feelings in our current relationship. Thank you to everyone who answered with stories I can relate to, or advice from similar relationships. It helps a lot to hear that other people are capable of making that dynamic work. I appreciate all the responses, whether they help me or not. I am taking everything with a grain of salt because I really can't rely on Reddit strangers to give me answers in my romantic life. I just enjoy venting. And especially, thank you to the person who messaged me to inform me that mods were deleting answers that were agreeing that high body counts are a red flag, trying to control the narrative. Again, each to their own. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.